Hey guys, um, welcome back. Another little session of tool time. Some of you might be wondering, boy, is this guy ever doing any machining? He just keeps doing these tool time videos. Just family life here. I've got a special needs kid that's been sick for a couple of weeks and in and out of the hospital. He's actually there right now, and I get a few minutes to come home and play, and so I haven't turned a machine on in a couple of weeks, but hope to get back to machining. He's doing good and hopefully be home tomorrow. But tonight I'm going to start this off a couple things. So a little information thing. I thought about this, and some guys may not know this. It's kind of a simple thing. Is if you want half of a fraction, how do you get a half of a fraction real quick? Well, it's double the bottom number. So I don't know if this will come into focus or not, but you look at it, what's half of a half inch? It's a quarter. You double the 2 and you get a 4. What's half of a quarter? You double the bottom, double the 4, you get an 8. What's half of 9/16? It's 9/32. What's half of 1/8? It's 1/16. So a quick way when you're doing tape measure items to get half of a fraction. I hope that helps. But I'm going to talk about a visit with Paul, and kind of a quick story. I'm going to talk fast, not burn up your time. As you know, machining is my hobby, and I drove by a job shop for 30 years, saw the sign all the time, Tool Engineering, and wasn't too long ago I stopped at the shop, pulled in, and I've done this a few times with different shops, and just to see if there's something in their scrap bin that I can bring home to use in my shop and not have to buy materials. Well, I went in the shop, and there was a small office, probably not even 6 by 8 feet, if it was that. There's the old desk, the old Smith Corona typewriter. Nothing had changed from the 1950s probably, and I opened the shop door and looked in, and there was a shop about 1,200 square feet, couple of 4 mills, couple of big lathes, welding area and stuff. And off in the corner at the mill was a very old timer, easily in his high 80s, and he had a visor on and his readers on, and he was working at a rotary table, measuring. He would lean back, measure the drawing, measure the he was working away. I stood there for almost 20 minutes. No way was I going to disturb this fella. Postman came out. It turns out he can't hear a damn thing either. So I left. Well, the next day I stopped back again, and walking in, there he was in the parking lot. And so I walked up to him and said hello, and he says, "Hi, Tom." And I says, "No, I'm not Tom." And he goes, "Well," he goes, "you're that guy's son." I go, "Well, I'm somebody's son, but I'm not Tom. But nice to meet you, sir." And he goes, "What can I do for you?" And I said, "Well, I actually stopped by yesterday. I was just curious if you had some scrap or something that I could use. I'm just a home shop machinist." And off I went into the shop and sat down, and that little discussion turned into an immediate bond and friendship that I just cherish. And I'm sorry to say, it was maybe 6 months. The guy was still working in his late 80s, delivering parts. Super smart guy, doing work for Apple, for Toshiba, all sorts of companies here in the Silicon Valley. He would meet with engineers and take their drawings and fix them all so that they would work. Heck of a guy. I remember one night, late in the afternoon, I stopped there and asked him what time he'd go home, and he had the McMaster car or catalog or a tooling catalog, and says, "Well," he goes, "I got a lot more studying still to do here. There's a lot to learn still." Super guy, and he passed on, and I miss him dearly. And in our discussions one day, it turned out his grandson had a car up in San Francisco that had to get towed, and he mentions to me, "Well, a whole day and $500 to get the car." And he goes, "But good thing," he goes, "I got to go to my favorite restaurant in San Francisco." And I said, "Oh wow, what was that?" And he told me the name of the restaurant. Well, by chance, it was my favorite restaurant also. Small little Italian place that I've been going to since I was a kid. So it was weeks later. My wife and I happened to be in the city, and we were driving down the street to go to that restaurant, and I called up Paul and, what? Where are you? Who's this? And I said, Paul, I'm going to Westlake Joe's. I'm gonna have dinner. And he goes, oh, thanks for calling. And he was real happy. Well, a couple days later, I show up at the shop, and there he's at his desk, and he stands up and shakes my hand, says hello, and starts reaching under the blotter on his desk. And I was going like, what is it? He goes, hang on. He goes, I got something for you. And he pulled out a $20 bill, and he hands me the $20 bill, and he says, hey, thank you for calling the other day. He goes, it meant a lot to me, and I just wanted to buy you a drink. Just touched my heart. And I would stop in, we would talk about projects he's working on. I would ask him questions about little things I was doing. And so that's my story about Paul. But it kind of goes on. I get to see Paul every time I come into my shop. And it means a lot to me that Paul's here in my shop. And I'm going to go introduce you to Paul. Okay? I'm going to pick up the camera so it's going to jitter around a little bit. Well, there's Paul. I have done a video on this drill press, and it was Paul's drill press in his shop, and I was fortunate enough to get it. And so every day when I come in and I walk down this alleyway and go by this machine, I always say hello to Paul. Means a lot to me, and if I happen to be doing some work, I always ask Paul for my assistance, for his assistance, I mean. I know he's there, and he's probably watching me over my shoulder, and I appreciate it. And oh my God, look at that. If you happen to see the Coolmas video, there's the holder I couldn't find. I had it up here. I don't even know why it's there. Well, it's problem solved. Thanks, Paul. A couple other things on this drill press. If you can look at, I have a video on it. Something I learned at a shop the other day where the guy said, hey, get a magnet and leave some chamfering tooling on your drill press and on your mill, and you never have to go look for it. And if you've watched the video, this drill press is built in England. It's called an F.O. O'Brien fobco, and it's listed as an 1 1/4" drill press. It's a Morris Taper 3. It has a 2-speed gearbox, so its slowest speed is 51 RPM, which is actually slower than a vertical mill. But interesting enough, this is an English drill press, and I added the double boost light to it. And anybody that's watched John double boost out of England, he put this on his lathe. It's an IKEA light, and I got them on sale for $5. Okay, I don't know what happened there. Ran out. Well, I do know what happened. We ran out of battery, or not battery, but ran out of space on the card. But when I looked at the video, of course, the video was turned 90 degrees, and I don't know how that happened. I was holding the camera straight, so I'm going to blame it on Paul. He's probably just screwing with me. But anyway, I was just talking about the double boost light. It's a super little setup. It's kind of ironic. The English designed drill press has a light from an Englander, John, over double boost. So that's my final discussion on the drill press here. Again, thanks, Paul. Nice visit with you, and we'll be back soon, and I know you'll help me a lot. So I'm going to take you back to the holder, and I got a couple of other things I wanted to chat about. Hopefully the camera doesn't turn sideways on me again. We will see. Okay. A couple other just tool items I thought I'd discuss real quick. Here's a little drill truck. It's a Jacobs number 0. This is a sensitive drill chuck, it's called. I don't know let's see, it goes from 0 to 5/32 or 0 to 4 millimeters. The interesting thing about this little chuck, and it goes into a 1/2-inch collet, is that you don't really feed it with the quill. If you can see here, as it's in the quill, you actually can grab this. It spins free, and you can actually use your fingers to drill with. So you have very sensitive light pressure as you're drilling with using very small drill bits. So anyway, I thought I would show that item. It's not something you see every day. And then the other item, just to finish up here, is these guys right here. I actually saw these on another fellow's channel that works on small motors, and is Donny Boy, I think is his channel. Does some nice stuff. He's up out of Canada, but these are, I think, knipex, KNIPEX. Part number is 7131200. And I don't know if that'll come up, but what they are is a little mini bolt cutter, and as you can see, the whole unit is 8 inches long. Here's a pair of regular dikes, so very similar to a pair of regular dikes. So here's a 8D finishing nail, a pair of dikes. Yeah, I can cut it, right? But here's I think this is a 832 screw, and well, if I press hard enough, I can cut it. Okay, I'm an old guy; I can get there. These guys, boom, little bitty bolt cutters. Great for cutting things that you don't want to try to fight with a pair of dikes or ruin a pair of dikes. Okay, and then one last item that I'd throw in here. This is your standard stop that goes on like a Kirk vise. Got the 2 little set screws, and you have your pin on each side for bump, so the parts can bump it. Well, one little trick is to take one of those and cut it in half. And now what you end up with is a much smaller stop to put on your vise. And of course you still have a left and right ability on it also. So it's just, they're not super expensive, so you can take one and cut it in half, and ends up when you have a tight part in there, it works pretty well. Okay, I'm going to sign off for tonight, and hope you enjoyed it, and I will try to turn some machines on here shortly. Take care and catch you soon.